Welcome back to the Dan Patrick Show here on this Tuesday, 11:22 on the East Coast. We have once again made Ross Finch Tucker move to my left, and once again, it's for a very good reason. Say hello to Jim Breuer. You know him from Saturday Night Live way back in the day, from everything he does as a comedian, from how much he loves the Mets to his new podcast, The Metal in Me, which we'll talk about in a moment. What's that title mean, Jim Breuer?
It's I grew up a metalhead. An 80s metal guy, which, you know.
Who's your favorite?
AC/DC Metallica. That's my Cabernet and my Merlot right there.
What would Winger be?
Oh, no, he's not allowed in the house. Winger?
Yeah.
Please don't say you like Winger.
I just remember a couple of the songs.
Are you a Winger? You know what? You just said a lot about yourself. I already saw exactly what you looked like. Mm-hmm. You were that guy. You kind of wanted to hang out with the metalheads, but you weren't ready. Yeah. The hair. You look. You had because the jock thing and the jocks were into rock, but they didn't want to get into Maiden. I don't like that 666. It sounds evil. I don't like the black and Winger. That's cute.
It was a nice soft place for me to land
because the chicks were there, and I don't blame you for that. The chicks liked Winger. They liked Poison. They like that nonsense.
White Lion.
You guys are so much older than me.
Now you're in my world.
Wait, never had a chance to love you.
You guys are so much older than me.
Ross is going to play that card.
No, right? I will say this, though. Jim, you said the jocks. It's funny because even in the 90s and in the 2000s, Metallica, AC/DC, a major part of locker rooms.
Oh, AC/DC, I mean, any game, you just play one of their songs, everybody's excited.
You ran! Thunderstruck!
Yes!
Let's get them, boys!
Oh, my goodness.
You ran!
He's got it.
Now,
Thunderstruck!
Now, when they sing that, it's almost like, you think Phil Collins, when he sang In the Air Tonight, knew that so many football players would play that like on Friday nights before games? Like, Phil Collins was definitely not talking about football.
No.
In the Air Tonight. That's a huge song for football players. In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins.
For the teams that don't win.
Everybody else is playing AC/DC.
You think the Patriots next week are going, hold on, quiet. Let's get ready for this game, boys. I know I'm your leader, but you know what? We're going to take it to a new level. We're getting ready for the playoffs. I can feel it coming in the air.
Yeah, man, that was mine. I love that song.
Oh, my gosh.
A lot of guys love that song.
Ross comes back to a lot of guys liked it.
Dude,
I'm back in Paul's
Winger's
camp.
better. Yes,
yeah,
right?
I'm with the Winger camp. Good luck. I'll take Winger over that.
Iowa. Paul played Iowa late 80s, early 90s. They must have killed Metallica and AC/DC.
All day long.
Wait a minute,
Metallica, AC/DC, yeah.
Did you play hockey?
No.
Like street hockey, roller skates?
No, never, nothing.
Did you play tennis?
Ross
no, never, anything, no.
Played in the NFL for 7 seasons.
Wait, so before a game, that was your go-to song?
I actually didn't really.
There was nobody near your locker, Ross.
I actually didn't really listen to music before games.
Oh, really?
I wasn't a headphones guy. I didn't have specific music I listened to.
Did you read the playbook?
No, I just kind of was quiet. And when I was in the NFL, I would just think about how stressed out I was, how much my back hurt, how much I couldn't wait till the game was over.
Dream come true, making it to the NFL.
It's so funny, man.
He's truthful.
No, in high school and college, Jim, before the game, you're like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and kill dudes. After the game, we're going to Jake's house. It's going to be amazing. In the NFL, you're like, man, I hope Richard Seymour does not kill me today. That would really suck. There's a lot of people watching. I hope I don't get hurt even worse than I already am. It'd be really sweet if I could just have an okay game and once the game's over, not get yelled at and not feel worried about my job.
Wow.
It sucks, man. It sucks.
Wow. Get the ice.
Right?
Don't yell at me.
I used to work with a guy, shall remain nameless.
Okay.
One of my favorite stories. He played in the NFL for over a decade. He told me that he was once in the tunnel waiting to run out onto the field. Everybody's excited. They're jumping up and down. And he said, I go to the guy next to me. I don't know what everybody's so excited about. There's nothing out there but pain and disappointment.
Wow. See, this is the stuff I like hearing.
Right?
I like hearing the inside
So
stuff.
you're a Long Island guy?
Yeah. I grew up in Long Island.
Okay, so Jets?
Well, here's the deal. I'm a football mutt. I grew up with the 70s Cowboys. I loved the 70s.
Staubach.
Randy White.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Danny White. That was 80s.
No, I had problems with Danny White.
Okay.
Staubach.
Loved Randy White, Staubach, Dorsett, Too Tall Jones, and then I really loved the Aikman years. Loved those Cowboys. But
What'd you do during the 80s?
Lawrence Taylor, Giants, baby. Lawrence,
Dude.
he brought me to the Giants. And
You
then
can't flop
know.
back and forth between the Cowboys and the Giants,
I
depending
did.
on who's good. You're a
did.
front runner.
I did.
How can you be a Mets fan and a front runner?
I just told you I was a mutt. You know what I mean? I'm a mutt. I loved, and then what happens with football? It's not like football. Almost every year there's a new team in it, so your team is out of it by week 9. So you're forced to go, all right, let's hate this guy, or let's hate this team, let's root for that team. And then you fall in love with the team, and 2 years later, I don't like this team. The Jets, yeah, I root for the Jets. Like, I want the Jets to do well this year.
Doing real well.
They are doing well. Last week, I feel that was a sit-down game. Well, it'd be very nice if you let these boys, I mean, you already got it wrapped up. It'd be nice. Everybody wins. They win a game. You lose one game. You don't lose anything. It'd be nice, okay? Be nice. If you get the ball, it's 30 seconds. Yeah, sit down.
Give it to us.
Give it to us. It'd be nice. It'd be nice for the boys. Give them some confidence.
He's comedian Jim Breuer. He just launched another podcast called The Metal in Me. You talked about the title. You said you're a metalhead from way back when. If someone's watching now, they say, you know what? I kind of like this guy. I'll check out his podcast.
Yeah.
What are they going to see in here?
Here, so the metal in me is a lot of game. Like, for instance, I don't know this band Kill Switch Engage. I have no clue. All right. However, some of the young people love this band. So I do the metal education, where the young person has to explain to me why this newer metal is so great and worth it. And tonight, I'm going to go sit with Kill Switch Engage. And instead of the usual, what was it like making that record? I play a game show with them. Like, for instance, Metallica. I did a game show at Metallica where I would ask them questions like, if you all went to a sad movie, which one of you most likely would cry? Stuff like that.
Who was it?
Kirk.
Yeah.
Kirk was the one. I said, if you're a country, who's the president? Who's the vice president? Who's secretary of defense and all that? Lars was like, I would totally be the foreign affairs guy. Absolutely. Because of my Danish background.
How difficult is it to have that wish list and actually get in front of a band like that?
Well, I guess for a lot of people it would be tougher.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the bands, so it's a little easier.
Who's first on the list right now? Who would you most like to spend that time with?
What do you mean?
If you could pick a band and say, you know what?
To come on your podcast.
To be a part of your podcast. Wish number one.
AC/DC. However, I'm hoping eventually get Brian Johnson on the lead singer of AC/DC.
Yeah.
I made a record. I got a rock comedy record coming out, and he's actually on one of the songs with me.
Really?
Yes.
So if there's a relationship already there, you can do it, right?
Yes, absolutely. But it's the funny, finding the funny, because these guys don't ever.
Yes.
A lot of the rock guys are hilarious. They're funny.
You never see it, though.
No one exploits that. No one does game shows with them or puts them in sketches. That's what the metal in me is going to do.
So if you got to spend time with AC/DC and Brian
Yeah.
Johnson that way, would you have like a prepared list of places you knew that you wanted to go? Or are you one of these guys that would have the first question ready and then just roll with it?
With Brian, there is no prepping. He completely takes over the room. He's your, that one guy you go, we got to invite Lenny. We can't have a hangout without Lenny.
Right.
He's Lenny. He shows up. He's got the funniest jokes, the greatest stories, and he's hands down the most hilarious guy I've ever sat with. I've belly laughed the hardest sitting with that guy. He's nuts.
Awesome.
Funny as snot.
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard to understand, though. You need a translator.
Right?
That almost gets me mad.
What? He told me a great story about Sting. Sting. He goes, you know,
The
Jim.
wrestler or the musician?
Good question. The musician. And he
Got
said,
it.
you know, Jim, a lot of people don't know this about Sting, but he's a Geordie. A Geordie is like our rednecks.
Oh,
If someone says, he's from Alabama, he's a redneck.
right.
England, their rednecks are Geordies. So Brian's a Geordie. I'm a Geordie. I said, well, why doesn't he speak that way then? He goes, well, here's the thing. When you grow up a Geordie, you got two things you have to work in a steel mill, or just basically a factory the rest of your life, you understand, run the boat docks. So you have to learn to speak proper. And that's exactly what Sting did. However, you stick a couple pints in him and the Geordie comes screeching out, lad. Gotta be so much more fun if I can curse the way he does, but I can't.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's and they were gonna do a play together. He's a fascinating guy.
You should see if you get them, have them do
I will
something
never. I'll
like,
tell you right now, I'll
won't
never
happen.
get him.
Won't happen.
They don't do it.
Okay.
Brian, yes, but what were you gonna say? I apologize, I interrupted you.
Get him to do like Back in Black acoustic version, something like that.
See, now you just hit another part of the show. What we do is like I'm gonna get this band Five Finger Death, but we get some heavy bands on. And we're gonna make that. They have to sing the most romantic, beautiful songs. We want to see their lighter side. So that's some of the things
Yes.
we also do with the song. Or one of the things we're doing is called Metal This, where you take great songs like a Phil Collins song, and you metal it up. Gilligan's Island, Metallicarize it, stuff like that.
Susudio would be good for that.
Ooh, Susudio,
Right?
yeah.
Hey, so big Mets fan?
Huge.
So where are you?
if they were country, I'd go to war if I had to defend them.
I want to hear more about the Mets, and I know he's done some very interesting things with the Mets. When we really like a guest, we invite him back for a second segment. So
all right.
I think you're getting
Sounds
the green
good.
light to come
I
on
got
back.
the green light.
I
Yeah.
get to ask a
Thank
Mets
you.
question,
And a
first
please.
question when we come back.
It's all yours.
Great.
Jim Breuer, Paul
Thank you.
Burmeister, and Ross Tucker sitting in for Dan Patrick. You're listening to The Dan Patrick Show. Considering that Jim Brewer's in the middle of his The Metal in Me podcast,
Yeah.
it's nice to come back with some Zeppelin, huh?
Yeah, I like that. Nice segue.
Yeah. Jim
I
Brewer.
know nothing about music,
I love it.
but Zeppelin is not metal, so I don't get your little reference right there.
metal-ish.
Zeppelin's metal?
It's in the
ish
sphere.
zone.
Really?
It's
If you're calling Zeppelin metal-ish, how metal are you really, Jim
His middle
Brewer?
name is Finch, and he listened to Phil Collins before football games.
I don't need to defend my thought
No
process. here.
credibility at all. Paul Burmeister and Ross Finch Tucker sitting in for Dan Patrick today. Jim Brewer, you can check out his new podcast, The Metal in Me. We've talked about his new project there. Sounds like a lot of fun
It
to
is.
check out.
It's a lot of fun.
Also a mega baseball fan,
Yeah.
especially the Mets.
Yes, and he's also spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania recently
That's
doing
right.
his stand-up show.
That's right.
He was in my hometown of Reading, Pennsylvania
Bang.
recently.
That's right.
Um,
Played the theater there. It was nice.
yes, so here's my question about the Mets, because
Yeah.
I work with a lot of people. I always grew up a Phillies fan. I work with a lot of people that are Mets fans,
Mm-hmm.
and several of them are to the point where they're kind of tired of Harvey. They're kind of sick of him, always in page 6. You know, the whole innings thing. They feel like they have all these other good pitchers. They're almost okay if the Mets, don't re-sign him to a mega contract when he's up.
No,
How do you feel about Harvey right now?
right now,
Yeah.
he's all in, baby. Now, if you asked me that about 5-6 months ago, I had a whole different attitude.
Yeah.
And I think when he first came out with the whole thing about my innings, I'm not sure, and I have to talk to Scott, my agent, and the doctors will be talking to him, and I'm worried about the future of mankind. That was. Yeah, I was ready to run. We were ready to let's lynch him. Send in the upset fans. Go home, Harvey. Ship him to the Yankees.
Were there any chants like that?
Yeah, there was plenty.
There were real chants at games? I didn't know that.
No, there wasn't a chance. But people were angry.
Yeah.
It's but I think the moment that changed for me was when once he hit the playoffs and he said he got all emotional. He's like, I love these guys, I don't want to leave this team, and I want to be out there every day. And that Game 5, when he pitched his heart out, for me, that was tremendous. That was tremendous, Matt Harvey. So I don't have a problem with it. I think here's the problem. Here's the thing with Met fans. I don't want to speak for them all, but I think I will speak as a diehard Met fan. Met fans are not sure if he bleeds orange and blue. You can't mention Yankees as a Met. You can't. We all get Derek Jeter. He's Joe DeMatt. We get it. We know that. But don't start saying, I love Derek Shea. Hey, quiet. I make pizza. Don't say how much you like hot dogs.
Right.
So we have the Mets fan biggest fear is we're not going to be able to afford him. He's going to go across town.
Which Met are you sure on this team bleeds orange and blue?
Well, clearly David Wright, but I 100% right now, I'd say Noah Syndergaard. Love that kid. 6'40", throws 1 billion miles an hour, throws the first pitch on the biggest stage in the world, 10 feet high over that kid's head who dropped to the floor like it was coming at his eye. Stop. And then they go, oh, dear. And he said, if you got a problem, I'm 66 feet away and 6 inches. If you want to meet me, then you know where to meet me. I love him. That's a Met right there. We need some spice.
What about your boy Murphy? How you feeling about that?
I don't have a problem. Hey, listen, he's got kids. He's got a life. He's got to sign where he's got to sign. So as a businessman, I don't care where he signs. I think he would have liked to get a couple years, and I think the Mets made it clear we're not bringing him back. So he's got to do what he does. I think he's going to do tremendous in the Nationals lineup because in the Mets lineup, he really didn't have a lot of people protect him until Cespedes showed up.
Right.
So I think he's going to have a bigger year than people are really going to anticipate.
If Mets PR, let's just say they're listening now, they like what you're doing, they like what you said about Noah Syndergaard, and say, you know what? You can have him for one episode of your Metal and Me podcast. How would you use him?
I'd have to think about that. I'd have to, you know what? I know exactly what I would do. I would have him do, since you're going to be hopefully a Met for life, you're going to have to know some history about the Mets. And I'd have him do a history of Met life game show. So I want him to know about your Tom Seavers and your Gil Hodges and Casey Stengels and Shea Stadium and what all that was about, because you should know the history where you're going to be living for a while.
Works for me.
When 70s are when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Mets weren't that good then, were they?
No, I fell in love with them 73. I was 4.5. Bud Harrelson, Felix Mian.
So you're not one of these Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberries
No.
jumped on the bandwagon then.
No. Rusty Staub, Jerry Grody, Matt Lack.
How old were you with Strawberry and Gooden?
17.
Oh my gosh, that had to be awesome.
Peaking. It was the greatest
That had
moment.
to be amazing.
I might start crying just thinking about it.
I mean,
2 outs, nobody on. And the Mets are, let's cut to Boston. New York sucks. New York sucks. And they're going crazy in Boston. They're dressing up like the Boston Tea Party. Let's get this oil can boy that's just reached havoc. And we cut to him, and there's the Mets. There, Gary Carter looks very upset. And there's a single. Still 2 outs. No. 1 run around down by 2 runs. That was the greatest. The USA victory in 1980 are for me, the 2 greatest sports moments that I witnessed for myself ever. It made me cry. It was unbelievable. I can't even.
Awesome.
Can't even think about it.
What part of your sports memory is a staple, or do you have one, a part of your stand-up comedy routine? What's your go-to sports if you want to use it?
Always baseball. I always bring up the baseball. I get a lot of Met fans now because of last year I would make a video after every Mets game. And what a lot of people don't know is a lot of people started watching it during the playoffs, or they learned about it during the World Series. And what happened was I make Facebook videos, just Facebook, mostly family, a lot of family stuff. My wife was going through chemotherapy and cancer. She's fine now. And it was game 1 of the Mets versus the Nets. It was the opening game. And she watched me like every year, like a I'm watching like a lunatic. It was Bartola Colon. And I turned, and she could barely move, and she's kind of giggling. That's what we laughing at. She went, "This is what you should make videos of every day." Like in the start of your voice. And I went, "Oh my God, that's brilliant." So I made the video just as a fan. She goes, "And you got to do it as a fan." And I made the video, and then she said, "You got to do this every game." And I did all 162 games, every single playoff, but people didn't catch on. So it started off with like 20,000 views. Then it went to like 50,000, then 200,000 views. And by the playoff in the World Series, it was up to 2 million. It was psychotic. It was nuts. So now when I go on the road, I do get other fans, Chicago and whatever, because I'm nice to the cities. Although Chicago got a little bent out of shape because I said just got swept. But I said that throughout the whole year.
You going to do it again next year? Next season?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I'm doing the fantasy camp, which I thought all you do is you show up. I thought fantasy camp was, oh, yeah, you take some batting practice, maybe meet Jerry Grody, have a cocktail, and it's over. People went, oh, no. People are out to murder one another. You better start getting in shape. So I literally just got a personal trainer because I don't know what I'm in for. I heard it's not so. So I'm going to fantasy camp.
Did you get Bartolo Colon's personal trainer?
Yeah, and we're going to listen to Phil Collins before I go out there and start lifting weights. Because I can feel it in the air tonight, baby.
He's Jim Breuer. You can check out his new podcast, The Metal in Me. And if you like what he did with the Mets rants last year, sounds like he's going to do it all again this year.
And I'm going to be with all teams. So, KC, I'll be in Kansas City for opening series. I'm playing in Kansas City that night.
Nice.
Very good.
Voodoo Lounge, baby.
Jim Breuer, hey, thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoy your time while Patrick's away.
Yeah.
And I think you steered the ship very well.
Hopefully we just didn't crash it, right? See if we can ask back for day 3. Jim, thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Good luck with the new podcast.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Jim Breuer, Paul Burmeister, Ross Tucker. You're listening to The Dan Patrick Show.